You said she was late to roll on the bed. Was she totally unclothed, or did she have?
She had a shirt on.
Okay, but no bottoms. Did she start out that way, or did she have them on at first, taking pictures, and then she took those off?
No, this was taken off.
Did you ever insert anything inside of her, or anything? But you never used your finger or your tongue or anything to insert her in her?
The man you just saw is 24-year-old Jared Harrell. In February 2010, he was arrested in Mississippi for having extremely graphic material related to children in his hard drive. His college roommate was the one to make this horrific discovery. But what he did not know was that this was not merely downloaded from the internet, but rather, these were Jared's own victims. The arrest was made on February 11th in a CVS drugstore parking lot in Meridian, Mississippi. After searching his laptop, amongst other photos and videos, one scared face looked really familiar. It was a child who had been on the news in Florida just a few months prior. That's when the detectives connected the dots and called the parents of Jared's victims. On October 19, 2009, Somer Thompson went to Grove Park Elementary School in Orange Park, Florida, but never made it home. As she was on her way back home, walking with her siblings, she strayed off the road and was never seen again.
I love you, and I just want you to come home.
Family, neighbors, and many others who heard about this disappearance frantically started searching for Somer, and several appeals were made for her to come back home.
Please help find Somer. Her friends and family miss her.
Somer's classmates were hopeful that they would see her again and sit next to her in class. But little did everyone know, the worst had happened. The case was cracked wide open when Jared Harrell was arrested months later and miles away. The only question left for the people who had prayed for Somer was, what happened to the child who went missing? And were there other victims? Watch along as Jared talks in detail about his crimes.
So I started to panic. I was pacing back and forth. I didn't really know what to do. The only thing I could think of was just to hide the body to get rid of it. So I went in the garage and I got one of the red Rubbermaid boxes. I put her in it and I closed the top on it. I took it to my car, put it in my back seat. I drove to Fleming Island behind Beauty and Beef, and I put the box in the dumpster. I drove back to the house. I got her stuff that was scattered around. I put it in a trash bag. I don't remember what kind of trash bag. I just grabbed one of the trash bags that were in the hall, and I put it in my garbage can.
And why did you pick that dumpster?
It was familiar to me.
Okay. And then I thought you told me because it was sectioned off or something.
It was closed. It was bricked around.
Bricked around it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jared Harrell calmly explains the events of the day when Somer Thompson ended up in the backyard of his home at 1152 Gano Avenue. Until now, detectives and everyone else involved in the case had hoped that Somer would be found alive, but Jared immediately confesses that is not the case. He even gives them the location of the body immediately. He says that he disposed of the body in a restaurant dumpster, but since that dumpster had been cleared already, the detectives had to go to the Georgia landfill to find her body. It's chilling to see how normal he acts while explaining the last day of an innocent child.
All right, so then you come back to the house.
Yeah.
And you put her stuff. What items do you actually remember?
For sure remember it was a backpack.
And what color? Do you remember what color it was?
Black and pink.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. And then there was like a couple of books that she had just been carrying, I guess. I put those in the bag, and then her shoes.
Okay, so the pink backpack,
Mm-hmm.
some books that was in the backpack,
Mm-hmm.
her shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and what else?
There might or might not have been like a lunchbox or something like that. I'm not sure.
Right. But the shoes that you put in the garbage can with the backpack was the shoes that she was actually wearing. It wasn't a pair that had fell out of the bag or anything. That was actually the shoes she was wearing that day.
She didn't have any shoes on. Right.
And you said you thought those came off just because she might have been kicking?
Yeah, that was my assumption.
Okay. All right. And I'd ask you, did you remember what she was wearing that day?
Some, like a striped sweater.
Okay.
And some red jeans.
When you say red, is it red like a fire truck?
Or it's probably like a maroon.
Like a maroon?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you said the striped sweater, was it like big stripes or little stripes or just one stripe? Or
I'm not really sure. I'm thinking it was more like little stripes.
Okay. So and you put that stuff in a trash bag, and you put that in your regular yard trash or house trash.
Right.
And how long you said that you kept that, or it was at the house before you actually put it out?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All the things that Jared describes are the little things that Somer's mom did for her. The bag she packed with her books, the way she dressed her little baby. She never expected that these little things would later end up becoming the evidence of a horrific crime. And watching Jared act guilty might fool you for a second, but make no mistake. At a young age, Jared is already a seasoned pedophile. If you remember, the reason he was arrested originally was not for Somer Thompson's case, but for 2 other independent cases of molestation and carrying child pornographic material. He had also taken indecent photos and videos of Somer after she had tragically passed away. These are facts you must carry in your thoughts while you watch this monster tone down his crimes. As you continue watching, he'll also talk about another event where he assaulted a girl that he was trusted to babysit.
All right, so after you put the bin in the dumpster, you come back to the house. What do you do then?
After I put the stuff in the trash bag, and then in the trash, I think, I don't remember if I had electricity at that time or not. I kind of just remember pacing around or doing something like that until Mom got there, which wasn't too far after that.
You told me earlier that you had to clean up the urine off the floor.
Right.
Did you do that before you went to the dumpster or after you got back?
No, that was before I got the clothing and stuff in the trash bag.
Okay. So you did that before you took her to the dumpster?
No, after. It was before I took the clothing, or the shoes and the backpack and all that stuff. It was before I bagged that up and took it to the trash.
Okay. All right. So where was her book bag and shoes and all that stuff when you actually took her to the dump? Were they just laying on the kitchen floor, or did you put them somewhere in case somebody come by and would see them, or
I didn't even think about them.
You just left them?
Yeah, I guess they were just laying there.
Okay. So you get back, you mop up with a mop, and then you put those items in a trash bag, put those in the garbage outside, and then you just hung out till Mom got there. Yeah. Right.
The home where the crime occurred was Jared's parents' old house. They'd moved out of there to another location, but at the time of the crime, they were still in the process of shifting homes. In fact, the day of the incident was going to be their last day before completely moving out. If Somer had ended up coming to the house the next day, she would have not suffered the same fate. Unfortunately, she was present there at the worst time possible.
Once Mom got there, where did y'all go?
We loaded up some stuff into her car, and we went to the Chevron up the road. And we got gas. We put gas in both vehicles. Went and got something to eat at McDonald's. And we came back there, loaded up a couple more things, and she left.
And at that point, when she went to leave, you hadn't spoke to anybody about this.
No.
And you didn't tell her anything about it. Okay. And what did you do the rest of that night?
I think I'm pretty much just hanging out. I'm not sure if I left. I might have went just to kind of get away from all the activity that was going on. I might have went to Winn-Dixie.
Okay.
Just to walk around. That's the closest thing I could think of, but I'm not sure if that was that night or the next night.
Okay. Earlier, I can't remember where it was in the place of it, but you said that some people came through the yard looking
Right.
for a little girl. Was your mom still there then, or was that after?
No, she was gone. Yeah,
So
that
it was
was
after dark?
Yeah, that was after she left.
Okay.
It was dark because they have flashlights and everything.
So they're walking around with flashlights and I think you said they were hollering a name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that the first time you knew what Somer's name was?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that they asked you, had you seen a little girl, or had you seen her, or something like that?
It was. I had asked them what all the commotion was, and they said a little girl went missing.
Okay. Because you said they actually come like in the yard and all.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I remembered that, but I couldn't remember where it was exactly in the time frame.
They were looking for a little girl
Right.
named Somer.
Right.
And at that point, I guess you put two and two together that they were looking for her. Okay.
Now, is that when you saw her picture, or when did you?
I don't think I actually saw her picture until it was on the news.
So like the next night or the next day? Or...
Jared's mother came home after he had already disposed of the body. By this time, he had also gotten rid of all the evidence. When Jared chose little Somer to be his victim, he did not even bother finding out her name. To him, she was just a nameless victim who ended up falling prey to his malicious fantasies. Later on the night of October 19th, 2009, the night Somer went missing, family, police, and volunteers of the search party had knocked on Jared's door as well. This is when he found out the name of his victim. Remorseless and looking to keep himself out of jail, he acted unfamiliar with Somer when they asked him if he had seen her.
It's probably the next night, after they started running the story.
But you remember when you first saw her?
Yeah.
And then the next thing was, you were saying was that's when she panicked. Yeah. And you grabbed her, tried to make her stop screaming. And then from there, she went limp. So if that's those steps, then the chance of her going anywhere else in the house wouldn't be possible. Is that what you're saying?
If the only way it could be possible is if I was busy, busy in the actual closet, like in the closet, messing with clothes or something, and she was walking around and I didn't know it. But
right. So what you're saying is it's possible. What you're saying that she could have come in the back door, walked around the house looking for the dog, and just didn't make enough noise that you saw her.
As I was trying to sort through things, and I didn't notice
you met her back in the kitchen. So no one else was living there but just you, and you said that when you put her in the bin and you put her in your vehicle, that was your black Suzuki. And what is the actual model of that vehicle?
This is a 2001 Suzuki Vitara.
Vitara, that was it.
Earlier you said that you put her in the box in the back seat instead of the cargo area.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that there may have been something in the box with her, but you're not positive about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't you say maybe a blanket?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay. And you said that this blanket, I mean, are you pretty sure there was a blanket in there, or are you?
I don't really remember looking. I just kind of had it over here. I popped the top open, and I grabbed her.
Okay. And you said earlier because you described the bin as like a storage bin.
Right.
And which I'm assuming they're not real big, but you said that when you put her in there, you kind of had to, I wouldn't say fold her, but kind of bend her a little to get her in there.
Yeah.
Do you remember if she was laying, how she was laying, when you put her in, how you had to put her in there? Did she lay on her back with her legs up, or do you remember if she laid on her side, or?
I think it was on her back.
So you just kind of laid her straight in, so she was facing up, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. When you were trying to make her be quiet, and you had your hand over her mouth, you said you didn't remember exactly how long you think it was before she went limp?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. But that's the point that you noticed that she had urinated on herself? Okay.
Did you wonder why a little child might have strayed into a random home? The answer is very innocent. Jared's parents had a big white dog that Somer usually played with on her way back from school. She was going to the house to play with the dog again, not knowing that they had moved, and instead of a furry friend, she found an actual animal waiting for her. Jared is struggling to cook up stories to explain what he did to Somer, but there's only so much that can be explained. Jared claims that Somer randomly ended up in his backyard and that he was startled by the child. He says that she wandered into the house, but in reality, he had lured her into his home after he saw her standing outside. Even if his story is to be believed, in what world is it logical to drag a child into a home just because it stood in front of the home's garage? There is no proof that this was planned, but given the contents of his laptop, it's safe to say that Jared had been waiting for such an opportunity. He may be able to make it look like an accident that Somer ended up inside his home, but he certainly cannot explain and assaulting her.
And I asked you about where you her, and maybe even her after she was gone. And I want to make sure when we're done that anything that could be questioned about it, we answer. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, he's lying because he lied about this," and it's not your lying; it's just you don't remember, or you think it sounds bad. You don't want to say something that sounds that way because it was unintended, and somebody's going to take it the wrong way, and that makes the whole thing fall apart. You know what I'm saying? And I'm concerned that you think that whatever, if there's something that you're intentionally not saying it, it's not because you want to lie, because I don't get that from you at all. I think it's just you're concerned about how it's going to sound. Okay. Or else maybe you really don't remember, but if we can kind of walk through it, it'll help you remember. Because I noticed when you talk about it, the time span of what you're talking about is real quick. It's like you can tell us everything that was going on, and then it kind of compresses, and you can tell us things that happen after. And I think you kind of compressing things to get past the hard part, which that's human. Everybody does that. You make a mistake, you just want to get it done and move on. You don't want to dwell on it, and I understand that. And I don't want you to think that I think you're lying to me, because I don't think that's the case. I think maybe there's some things you're not ready to say yet. Okay? So I want to make sure before we're done, I talk to you about those things, and if there's any of them that you want to, clear up or anything that I'm not right about, that we talk about it. Okay? But in looking at the reports, it shows where she was a couple other places besides just here around the head. And I understand that was the main one, because that's what led to this bad thing happening. Mm-hmm. It's that you had your hands up there and you were trying to make her be quiet. I understand that. But there's a couple of things that we just need to kind of talk through and see if there's an explanation for them. Okay? And I asked you, I think probably the initial thing we need to clear up is just to kind of see if maybe there's something at the beginning of this that would help explain the way she reacted. Okay? Because you said in the car a couple times that she looked scared to death at first, or she looked real surprised. She was anxious, I think is the word you used too. Okay? Is it possible she interrupted you doing something, or she saw something she shouldn't have seen because she was where she didn't belong? I mean, like maybe, let me put it this way. When I was younger, I lived in a house by myself. And if I went to the bathroom, I didn't close the door. I didn't worry about it because I lived in a house by myself.
Right.
Okay? Well, one time somebody knocked on the door and they could see through the window kind of an angle that I was going to the bathroom. And that was very, very embarrassing. But I didn't do anything intentionally. They were up on my porch looking in my window. Mm-hmm. So I could see how if she was maybe somewhere she didn't belong, she might have seen something. And you would think that would sound bad, but it's completely understandable. It happens all the time. You come out of the shower, you don't think anybody's home, and you walk in the living room, and oh my God, there's the whole family. But people make mistakes like that all the time. Mm-hmm. So if maybe you were doing something, maybe you weren't dressed all the way, or maybe you were, or maybe you'd gone to the bathroom, and she saw something that shocked her. Then she went to pull back and scream, and you're naked or almost naked, or feeling embarrassed by it. It'd be even more natural that you would rush up and try to quell that before somebody came running over and saw something that you shouldn't have seen.
Well, I mean, I just have boxers on, but I consider that clothes.
Well, so do I. But is it possible the boxers weren't covering you all the way because you were by yourself and you were working, or?
That's possible.
Okay. So maybe there was something that she saw that would have shocked her more than just you being in your own house.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. Is, she knew she came into your house, so I could understand a little bit of surprise when she walked in you. But I mean, how surprised can you be when you're in somebody's house that somebody's in there? People just don't leave their doors open if they're not home.
Well, the only thing I could think of thinking back is she might have known my brothers, when they lived there, and then
Sure,
I come walking in and I'm this big, huge, dark guy, and she's like,
much bigger than your brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of makes some sense. And you had said that she was looking for a particular dog, the big dog.
Yeah, she was looking
Now, was the little dog still there?
No, I don't think it had came there yet.
Okay, because
your
mom said you guys kind of used the dog as a watch guard, when the house was empty, but the dog hadn't come yet because it wasn't
right. Yeah, it hadn't came yet.
Okay, so the big dog's gone and the little dog hasn't come yet. Right. Okay.
As the detectives progress into the interrogation, they try to ease him into the confession by using words like unintentional and accidentally. But they too are shocked at how a man could do these unspeakable things to a child. The detectives have amazingly managed to stay professional as they do their best to get justice for Somer and her family.
There's some things we found that show us she was in a couple other places. And I don't necessarily mean that anything bad happened to her, but she was certainly more than just up on her face. Okay. I think Kenny talked to you before about the way the DNA checking was done was not just one little spot. They checked a bunch of different spots to make sure that if there was something, we found it. So, is it possible, either before or after she passed out, that you would have touched her somewhere else, either to maybe lower her to the floor, or, like I said,
it was all done in an extreme rush. But I mean, like I said, if when I lifted her up, I could have got underneath her shirt, as I was lifting her up, or
lift her up.
Yeah, lifting her off the ground into the
box. Yeah. Okay, you just kind of went up over your head. I was confused.
I mean, you know how when you grab somebody, you're trying to lift them up. Their shirt might slip up or something like that. But
well, and you did say before that she was kind of tiny. I mean, so you got big hands, you can cover a lot of area. The one thing I want to check with you is, and like I talked about, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to make you feel bad. I certainly understand it. That it's something you can't really control. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of people that can't control certain things. They can't control it. Drinking addiction, they can't control addiction, they can't control addiction. And you certainly don't pick what you're attracted to. I mean, there's a certain kind of woman that I like, a certain kind of woman Kenny likes. Other people like men, or the same. That's how you come. You come out of the box, and you're kind of predisposed to liking certain things. It's like being epileptic. You can't help it. The computers and stuff like that. Is it possible that you moved her clothes to be able to see some stuff before you put her in the box?
I mean, I didn't do it purposely.
Okay.
While it may be easy for Jared to deny assaulting Somer, there's concrete evidence that he'd done so. The materials found on his laptop were all mentioned in the court documents. This is the official court document charging Jared for each one of the photos he took. Under the U.S. law that protects the privacy of the child in case of assault, the photos are confidential. But it was clearly stated in the document that these pictures were taken of her private areas posthumously, as Jared indulged in acts with her.
It's possible that you touched her underneath her clothes, but you don't remember doing that. And it's possible that her clothes may have been moved down in either the kicking around or the movement of getting her into the box or something like that. Her clothes may have come down. So
it's possible.
Okay. And I asked you before, I know you said you used the mop to clean up, but when she was wet, did you maybe move that stuff off her because it was wet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When you said that you put the bin in your vehicle,
correct?
You said you put it in the back seat area
behind the passenger seat in the back seat.
Okay. But you actually laid it on the seat of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to lay the seats down or anything to put it in there. Okay. And where was your vehicle parked at when you had to go put that in there?
The driveway.
Was it pulled in, or do you remember if it was it back then?
Just pulled in regular.
Just pulled in regular. So you just opened the back door and just slid it in. Okay. And then you said that you went out to the the dumpster in Fleming Island, and it was behind. What was it behind?
Beauty and the Beef and Nail Place and things like that.
And I remember asking you.
And there's a little haircut place too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a cheese and a haircut.
It's strip mall.
Yeah.
Right. But that dumpster, is it, I was asking, is it privately owned?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's just for the strip mall.
Just so strictly for that strip mall.
Okay. They probably paid for the trash pickup and all that.
And when you were,
They did.
and when you were there putting the bin in the dumpster, you didn't see anybody else?
No people, a few cars, but no persons back there.
Now, when you took the bin out of the car, it has a lid on it and said snap shut, and you take it over to the dumpster.
Mhm.
Now, just so I have a good idea, is this a open face dumpster like you would put construction material in, or is this a dumpster like
It's a door. It's the top opens,
Mhm.
and then it has two huge doors on the side that open
Okay. How did you put the bin in
through the side door.
through the side door? And how much trash was in the dumpster at that time?
Not a whole lot, about a foot, maybe like a foot of trash.
Okay. You just put it in there and left. Okay. And then you go back to the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you said about the blanket that you thought might have been in the bottom of the bin. Do you remember what color it was or what it looked like?
I'm not even sure there was one, so I mean, I didn't get a good look at one.
Okay.
If it was one in there.
Okay. So you're just guessing at that point about the blanket.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right. I just wondered, you didn't lay a blanket in there or a towel or something to put her on top of or anything?
Everything that Jared is saying does not make sense. He's trying to make it look like the detectives are the ones blowing things out of proportion. According to him, he only gently pushed her to stop her from crying, and somehow she ended up dead. This will not help him during the trial at all.
Were you expecting Mom that day? Had she already told you she was coming by?
At that point, yeah, I believe she had already called me. She was supposed to be there later.
Okay, so you were kind of expecting her then.
Yeah.
So once you take her to the dumpster and you come immediately straight back home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know about how long do you think after you put her stuff in the trash can outside that Mom got there?
Hour?
Okay. And I mean, I guess I'm saying when Mom got there, what were you thinking?
At that point, I'd already started kind of closing myself off to it. I was just, spending time with my mom. It wasn't, I mean, as bad as it sounds, it wasn't in my head, I was just trying
to block it out.
Yeah.
So Mom gets there, and at that point, you're acting normal.
Yeah.
Or whatever Mom think normal of you. She didn't question you or anything like you're acting funny or are you okay or. So at that point, you're.
I think I was acting pretty normal. It's different one's perception from somebody else's. But
Right.
I mean, as far as I know, I was.
Mom didn't question you. Or
No,
anything.
she didn't.
So you were pretty calm at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did you do anything to calm down before Mom got there? Did you remember? Besides just normal pacing or,
I have a way of just completely blanking my head. So I think I just did that and just kind of walked and just kind of tried to breathe, and take some deep breaths and calm down.
Okay.
Just, normal exercises to try and calm yourself down.
Jared is especially close with his mother. As you keep watching, we'll show you the moment in this interrogation when he's allowed to talk to her in the same interrogation room. You may be somewhat shocked at her reactions and naturally start to wonder if she ever did anything to get Jared treated or at the least discourage his actions.
This part about her being in the house and you're not sure if she went anywhere else in the house. Are you for sure on that part that she didn't come in and maybe go around the house looking for the dog or?
I'm not for sure.
And then she went to leave or something, and that's when she got scared.
I mean, I'm not sure, but I know when I came on her, she was in the kitchen facing me.
Okay.
Yeah, so she wasn't facing the back door like she was trying to leave. She was still facing.
That's something we need to talk about. Is when you approached her, when you first saw her, when you approached her, she was facing you.
Yeah.
And then when you first put your hands on her to keep her from hollering, she was still facing you, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, she was facing where I was.
I'm sorry.
She was facing where I was. So she kind of just kept looking straight ahead.
Oh, so she kind of froze.
I guess, yeah.
She wasn't like looking at you, but she was looking your way.
Yeah.
Okay. And you put your hands over to try to hush her, and she stayed facing you until you lowered her to the floor.
So her back at that point was to the door. The open door to the garage.
Yeah, it was like the counter and the door, and it was kind of right in the middle.
She's the other one. She's facing inward into the house.
She's facing inward into the house.
All right. And you didn't have to go up. You didn't go behind her.
No.
Strictly, the hand was in the front.
Yeah.
You said that that the pictures, the video, that you said that happened about a year and a half ago. Okay. And I just want to make sure I clarify that. You said that all that was photographs and a video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That you never touched her or anything that would cause her physical harm.
No.
Nothing that we would need to make sure that
Absolutely.
there's no problems in the future or anything. Okay. And you said that happened at which house?
Okay.
And where in the house was it?
I was in my bedroom. You go down the hallway to the right, first door to the right.
Okay. So and it was, who was home that day? I remember you saying.
I believe Mom was home.
Okay.
I don't remember what she was doing.
So you weren't set to a task that you were babysitting and there was nobody there but you and her and her brother. Your mom was actually in the house as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you actually have her do?
Nothing. I mean, she just was rolling around.
Okay.
Did you have her get in some poses or do some things?
Not really.
Okay. Do you remember asking her to do anything?
I mean, that was a while ago. I don't remember. I mean, I didn't ask her. I don't think I even asked her to do anything. I'm not really sure. I mean, it was a long time ago.
I was
just, kind of playing with her. I wasn't trying to hurt her or anything like that.
Well, I don't.
Well, like we said, the picture they showed us, she was smiling.
Yeah, I didn't think you tried to hurt her. And at that point, you said, "What do you think she thought was going on at that point?"
I mean, I had the TV on. She was probably oblivious to anything that was going on.
Okay. So she wasn't crying or trying to get away from you.
No, she was laughing. She was watching SpongeBob or something. TV.
Okay. And you used what was that, like a 35 millimeter camera, or what was it?
It was a digital camera, like a Canon digital camera.
Okay. So it didn't have film.
No.
Okay. And the pictures that you took, what were they of? You said she was late to roll on the bed. Was she totally unclothed, or did she have?
No, she had a shirt on.
Okay, but no bottoms. Yeah. Did she start out that way, or did she have them on at first, taking pictures, and then she took those off?
No, those were taken off.
Okay. And then from there, that I'm assuming there was a video. Was that done with the same camera, or was there additional camera?
The same camera.
So it takes video and still photos. Okay. And in the video, what is she doing?
Just kind of watching TV, rolling around, and kind of just me playing with her. Nothing bad. It just
right. Okay. When you say playing with her, what, as in what?
Lifting up her legs and stuff like that.
Okay. So when she lifts her legs, you're filming her. I understand it's uncomfortable to talk about, but we need to know the specifics of what you were doing. Did you ever anything inside of her or anything? Okay. So besides, now did you tell her to spread her legs and she did?
Mhm.
Did
She was just, we were just playing around.
Okay.
Like, I never told her to do anything. You know, she was just.
Okay. Did you raise her? Did you move her leg and film it at the same time, or? I mean, were you? I guess I'm asking, were you touching her at all, or was she just laying on the bed and
Just on her leg.
okay? Right. Was that so she would spread her legs? So while you were filming?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember anything that you told her? Do you remember anything that you said to her? Mm-hmm. Okay. And at no time, you never used your fingers. I mean, I know these are uncomfortable questions, but you never used your finger or your tongue or anything to her in her. What about just finger?
No.
You never touched her or anything. Okay. How was it? Just how did you touch her? How did you touch her?
Just on the cheek.
Okay. But you didn't do anything
No.
to rectum or anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay. Did she ever ask you what you were doing, or was she strictly laughing?
Detectives bring up the case of another 12-year-old girl that Jared had. Her name and other information have been kept confidential as she survived his horrific attack. But it's simply disgusting to look at him trying to justify his actions and make them sound innocent. Jared's mother was at home too at the time of this incident. There's no proof that she knew of her son's actions, but if she had caught him then and made him pay for his actions, then the tragedy that happened with Somer could have been avoided.
You get past that and you start to feel bad about what you did and you try to clean up as much as you can about it. And that's kind of a normal cycle of stuff you see with these kind of things and with people who do things they don't even really understand sometimes because they keep falling that same cycle. It's almost a trap. You see it with domestic violence. You see it a lot of different things.
That's why I wanted to get rid of all this child stuff. Because I don't want it on my record or on my family. I just want to get rid of it, and I want to get help, but I don't know if I can do it under the guise of Somer. If we can, if I can just get help and say that if the press hears about it, or if we can just keep it silent that I'm getting help for it. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be openly available that I'm getting help because I have a problem with child.
Okay, but anything you're getting help for comes under HEPA, and it's
It comes under what?
HEPA, like your medical records and all that. Anything you can talk to a counselor about, any of that stuff, that's all privileged. So
I want to get help. I just don't want it to be. I don't want my family to find out about it. Find out about the stuff that I did.
You're not a minor. You're an adult. You tell your people what you want to tell them.
In the end, detectives just try to make sure that Jared does not have any more victims than these. His explanation for deleting the content is that he feels guilty after committing these acts and does not want to cause his or the victim's family any pain. A simpler solution would have been to not inflict these crimes on the innocent to begin with. As you watch in the end, Jared's mother pays a visit to him in the interrogation room where they spend 20 minutes together. These are moments where a mother embraces her son, forgetting the monster he is in real life. After he meets her, he gives a detailed confession, though that part of the interrogation has been kept from the public because it involves a child.
Ooh, you need to shave. See if I got your cigarettes to smoke, did you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was nice enough.
So this is what it looks like when you don't shave? My goodness. Oh, yeah,
Thanks.
You're fine. You doing okay?
Don't worry about me. How are you doing?
Yeah. I made that tough stuff. Okay.
I just went ahead and told them what they wanted to hear. So.
You know what General always said? Just tell the truth.
Well, I figured.
It's been hard for everybody. We need to get on. Deal with everything and take it as it comes.
I mean, they said that And they're going to try and drop everything else. And so hopefully everything can just get back to normal.
Well, what are they talking about doing when you get? I mean, it's going to be going on from here on. I mean, what are they going to be charging you with, and what are they going to be doing?
They don't really know. They're relaying everything to the state attorney's office. So I still put aside everything. But I was real honest with them and everything. And, they know everything was not calculated or anything like that, so. But they're going to try and, he said he was going to try and talk to the prosecutor and get him to drop all the other stuff and just sentence me on this and try and get me help and all this stuff.
They did tell me that they had psychologists, they had, all kinds of, if you wanted help, all you needed to do was ask and make sure you got it.
In the jail? I just miss seeing you. I can never kill a bird.
I know.
Sorry.
Well, you take care of yourself. That's what you can do for me.
Finally, the cases surrounding Jared Harrell's many crimes come to their conclusion. For 3 separate crimes, he was charged with 1. First-degree murder, 2. Kidnapping, 3. Battery, 4. Conduct. In February 2012, he was given 6 consecutive life sentences so that he could never roam free. In the end, the mystery surrounding Somer Thompson was solved, but its answer was worse than anyone could have imagined. Somer's parents had just wanted their child back, or in the least, they wanted to know what happened to her. But when they were wondering what could have happened to her, they likely never imagined that the world is full of monsters like Jared Harrell who prey on kids. Jared's concluding words on the case were, "Can you just tell her that I really am sorry? It's not a regretful thing, it's a remorseful thing. I really am sorry that it happened. I know I'm going through some rough times, but I can't imagine what she was going through. I never had a kid, so I don't know what that kind of bond is like. But is this enough for a grieving mother?" Before we go, we would like to take a moment to remember Somer Renee Thompson, who is dearly missed by her loved ones, and especially her mother, Deanna Thompson, who hasn't kissed her little girl in 15 years now. This was the case of Somer Thompson and her assailant, Jared Harrell. What are your thoughts on this case? Comment below and share other cases that you would want to see on our channel. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe.